Across all the factory level 250 teams, there's going to be quite a few rider changes heading into 2024, and we're going to recap some of those major changes. Welcome back to Vital MX. I'm your host, Michael Lindsay, and as always, with any of our rumor mill or news break features, they are brought to you by our fine friends at Yoshimura R&D of America. Check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. Again, there's quite a bit of movement going on in this class. We're working on one of our silly season features for our website over at vitalmx.com. And in this feature, every year we break down the 250 class, the 450 class. We go team by team, what riders are still there, what we know about their contracts, where they're going, who's incoming, who's rumored, what their gear deals are, etc. If you want to see all that detailed, again, you can check out our website. You can hit the link in the description or in the first comment. But today in this video form, we're going to run through again some of those major ones, and we're going to start with the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team. They have quite a few riders staying put, and at least through 2024, we know that they have Styles Robertson, Jordan Smith, Nate Thrasher, and Nick Romano. We know for sure that Styles' deal and Jordan's deal is through 2024. Thrasher and Romano are a little bit more of a mystery. We know they're at least on new contracts leading into next year. Thrasher's could be a little bit longer. But we at least know all those riders will be there for next season. Hayden Deegan is on a deal that extends all the way through 2025 with an option through 2026, according to the team. They are also being joined by, on a new pro deal, Daxton Bennick. Yes, we saw him ride futures for the team this year, select outdoor nationals. He actually started his tenure with the team late last year on a handshake agreement and basically a tryout. If he did good in futures, he would get a deal for the future. He showed up, he proved himself to the team. They rewarded him with a pro contract for 2024 and 2025. Now, if you're paying attention, that puts us up to 6 full-time 250 riders at Star Racing next year. There is a 7th rider that we will also see compete potentially at some point for them, for sure in the SX Futures. That is Gavin Towers. That rider did win an A-Class title at Loretta Lynn's this year. They picked him up, they helped him for the Moto Combine at Ironman, and they will be helping him through SX Futures at bare minimum next year. He's basically on the same handshake tryout agreement that Daxton Bennick was on. As long as he performs, we will see him at some point in Nationals next year and potentially joining the team on a more full-time contracted basis. Now, that does leave 3 names that were on the team this year that we won't see next year. Well, sort of. Justin Cooper will remain with the Star Yamaha team, but on a 450 full-time next year. So again, not on the 250 class. This whole video is about 250 teams. And then there are 2 riders departing the team. Levi Kitchen, who has another ride lined up, and Guillaume Ferris. Shifting gears, we're going to move on to the next Monster Energy team, the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad. They also have multiple returning riders, and all 3 of the ones we're about to list have contracts to take them through 2024 that already existed. That is Cameron McAdoo, Seth Hamaker, and Austin Forkner. Again, these 3 are being retained by the team. Incoming is one of the ones we mentioned from Star Racing, Levi Kitchen. He will be joining the Monster Energy Pro Circuit squad, at least as far as we're aware, on a 2-year deal, so it should be for 2024 and 2025. There's also one more rumored rider that could be joining the team that, as far as we're aware, the rider thinks it's going to happen. It sounds like the team management wants it to happen. They're still working on some budget deals, but it looks like Maximus Vohland will join the team from Red Bull KTM. Again, this is not confirmed. This is not fully locked in when we checked about a week or 2 ago at the last couple nationals, but it sounds like it is getting close to being done. So what happens to some of the other riders we saw on the team this year? Well, on a part-time or fill-in basis, we had both Carson Mumford and Chris Bloss on the team at different points this year. Chris, we expect to be doing World Supercross next year as long as that series continues. He's going to be doing SMX for Phoenix Honda. He's kind of bouncing around through a couple different gigs. He always could potentially come back if Mitch needs a fill-in, but not on a full-time basis. Mumford also seems to be on that list. It looked to be maybe between him and Vohland for full-time, but again, looks like it's going to Vohland. We don't believe that Carson will have a home with the team next year, albeit there are a few rumors about where he could end up. Now that leaves us with 2 riders that are on the team this year that won't be next year. Those are Jet Reynolds and Ryder DiFrancesco. Ryder DiFrancesco did compete in SX Futures and the full outdoor seasons. He will be moving on to a different team. And Jet Reynolds only got to race in select nationals due to injuries, illness, other things. He's actually been on a pro deal for quite a while at the team, just kept getting hurt, couldn't make his debut. Sadly, he will not be on the team full time next year, albeit we believe he may be staying on a Kawasaki. Maybe he has a hope of becoming a fill-in in the future. We'll have to see. Either way, again, that locks them in with McAdoo, Forkner, Hammaker, and Kitchen. And, well, I missed one. There is one more departing from the team. There is Joe Shimoda. He does have a ride lined up elsewhere. Jumping into where Joe Shimoda will end up, that is Team Honda HRC. They actually have no riders on the 250 team technically departing, as Jet Lawrence moved to a 450 with the team during the AMA Pro Motocross Championship, and his brother Hunter, who just wrapped up the 2023 250 outdoor title, will also be moving to a 450 full-time for that team next year. That leaves a vacant 250 spot alongside currently contracted rider Chance Hymas, who is with the team through 2025. So Joe Shimoda will be moving over from the Pro Circuit squad. Again, we expect this to be another new 2-year deal for Joe, taking him through 2024 and 2025 with the Honda team. This is also really unique because it reunites him with the Lawrence brothers, in which he was teammates with at Geico Honda as they came through the amateurs into the pros, at least him and Jet. And this also makes it where all 4 riders on Team Honda HRC next year are all represented by the same management through Wasserman under Lucas Myrtle. We also would not be surprised to see all these riders working and training together in Florida, as the Lawrences have their dog pound facility, which Chance Hymas is already training and riding at. Again, wouldn't be shocked to see Joe join them next year. Another little fun fact there, another rider who is rumored to potentially be training down there is Levi Kitchen. Supposedly rumored to have negotiated into his Pro Circuit deal the ability to stay in Florida and do a program of his choosing, while it seems like everybody else on the Pro Circuit squad has to be in California. Now we move into the Austrian trio, and we are going to start with the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing squad. They have one incoming rider and one departing rider, but first we're going to start with the one rider that is staying with the team. That is Tom Vial, who of course raced for the Red Bull KTM squad over in the World Championship and won them 2 MX2 World titles before coming to the US this year. He has a 2-year deal with the team, taking him through this year, 23, into next year, 2024. His teammate from this year, Maximus Vohland, will be ending his 3-year contract with the Red Bull KTM squad, and as we noted before, we do expect him to end up at Pro Circuit next year, so he is departing KTM at the end of this year. He has been replaced by incoming rider Julien Beaumer that we saw race the last couple nationals for the team. Beaumer impressed heavily at the Anaheim 2 SX Futures race this year on his own privateer Yamaha, where he outqualified Hayden Deegan in time qualifying by a notable margin. After that, KTM scooped him up through their Orange Brigade Amateur program, but we always knew that he was locked in and destined to be on Red Bull KTM. It was just a question mark as if it would be for 2024 or 2025. He has clearly shown enough progress this year that they fast-tracked that to 24 to have him replace Vohland. Moving over to their sister team, we have the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing Squad. They will be retaining RJ Hampshire, who signs a new 2-year contract, taking him through 2024 and 2025 with the team, along with 450 options beyond that, depending on his 250 performances. They will be losing at the end of the season both Jalik Swoll and Talon Hawkins. We are sure on Talon Hawkins, as he will actually be moving to a different KTM Group support team. However, Jalik Swoll, we will admit, there is a small chance he is staying at the team, but more rumors point him towards leaving for another operation, which we will cover later in this video. That does not leave RJ as the sole 250 rider on the team, though, as the team also has Casey Cochran, who we saw race the last couple nationals, who at some point will be full-time pro next year. We expect him to do Supercross Futures, potentially 250 East if his performances are good enough, and then the pro motocross schedule. On a full-time basis, though, those two will also be joined by Guillaume Ferris, coming over from the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing Squad. The Spanish sensation was brought over on sort of a tryout fill-in deal with Star Racing at the end of 2022 and sadly got hurt early into the 23 outdoor season. He clearly showed enough for Husky to pick up his services. We do not know if this is a 1 or 2 year contract, but he's at least with the team in 2024. Lastly, in the Austrian trio of factory teams is the Troy Lee Designs Red Bull Gas Factory Racing operation. They also have a few minor changes with their 250 team. Pierce Brown is retained on an existing contract through 2024, while Michael Moseman departs the team for new pastures. He will be replaced by one of the outgoing pro circuit riders, rider DiFrancesco, who we believe is joining the team on a 2-year contract for 2024 and 2025. There's also a small rumor about a potential chance that Mark Finnis, a gas amateur racer, might join the operation on a sort of tryout deal as well through SX Futures, albeit that does not sound like it is really locked in. And again, just rumor, that one may or may not happen. Lastly, moving into the other Factory 250 operation that had an effect on this year's silly season, the one that we have not seen race yet, that is Triumph Racing. Their bike is finally about to be unveiled here in about a week leading up to the first round of the Super Motocross World Championship. The bike is to be released later this year. Us and media will be testing it at some point in November, and it looks like they already pretty much have a team locked in for next year. Again, this one has no real true confirmation, but we've had a lot of solid sources throughout the year share different versions of this info with us, and it seems like everybody in media is pretty sure on most of these selections. Namely, that is a couple different riders coming in from different teams. One of them sounds to be Michael Moseman coming over from the Gas operation, Jalik Swoll coming over from Husqvarna. The two of them would take on Supercross and Outdoors full-time for the team, while amateur racer Evan Ferry, the son of Tim Ferry, looks to be joining the team on some sort of SX Futures development deal. We don't know how many pro races we would see him in next year, but that looks to be his path going forward. There is the potential of one other pro full-time joining the team, as heavy recent rumors link Joey Savacci to joining the operation. However, Joey has pointed out of 250 Supercross Regional Championship eligibility, meaning he can't race East or West Coast 250s. There was hope that there would be a rule change by the AMA that would allow him to petition his way back in, but that doesn't look to be happening. So if Joey has in fact joined the team as heavily rumored, he would only be able to race the Pro Motocross Championship on their new 250. So more than likely, if this deal is to happen, he would be riding a 450 in Supercross to help them develop for the next year. Not racing, because their 450 will not come out until 2025, but at least able to spend some time at the test track, helping that team get that bike dialed in before we would see him making his racing debut for the team on a 250 come outdoors. There are plenty of other support teams we could cover, and even arguably kind of a support / factory team, with BarX being the sole Suzuki 250 squad. However, some of these teams have a little bit more up and down with the rumors. Some are pretty locked in, some not as much. Again, if you want to check out all that info, hit our silly season feature. It has so much detail in it. There's so much team information in there and news regarding every team, sponsors, etc. Hit that, again, link below or first comment pinned below. Now, here's the other thing. Rattled off some news there. How much of it hadn't you heard? What's a surprise to you? Is there any other riders you're curious where they're ending up in the 250 class? Throw those thoughts in the comment section below. We're going to drop a 450 kind of wrap-up version of what's going on in silly season. That video will come out in about a week, so stay tuned for that. We hope that we are keeping you guys informed, and if we are, give us a subscribe, a thumbs up. It would be well appreciated.